All right, ladies. So you guys know the biggest theme of this channel is not about how to manipulate somebody into loving you, but primarily how to get yourself out of the way, how to prevent self sabotage. Because realistically speaking, the people whom we really want to go back in time and redo it over are not the people who didn't like us, are the people who liked us, but we pushed them away because we were so goddamn needy. We got in the way and we self sabotaged. Maybe it was going perfectly, and your natural insecurities and projection caused you to see things that are not there and you push them away. And now, using hindsight, you realize that you were going batshit crazy. So, this video is about how to look. Sometimes prevention is the mother of all things. Prevention. Like, seriously, like prevention is somebody who focuses on prevention rather than fixing is a very wise person, because that person has hindsight, they have a wider aperture on life itself, and they just think more rationally. So today we're going to talk about what are those things that you just don't do these things. You don't have to know anything else, just don't do these things, and you'll notice that people will be more, and men or and women will be more attracted to you for the most part. No, excuse me. Now, this doesn't mean that if somebody doesn't like you, this is gonna make them like you. No. What it would do though is that at least somebody who will go out with you and leave you, at least they'll say they're a respectable person. At least they won't talk bad about you. To be honest with you. By the way, if any of you guys want to attend my meditation meetup, you guys can click on the description down below and where it says attend. And you guys can message me for tickets. The only way for you guys to get ticket is to message me. That's how it works, because space is limited. All right, so the first one is pretty obvious: wearing your emotions on your sleeve. Like, people who always show people how they feel without a second of hesitation. Look, don't get me wrong; it's good to be yourself. All right, it's a healthy thing to be yourself. And when I say being yourself, I mean not faking being friends with people because you like them, expressing your emotions, but at the same time, there's some limitations. It's okay for you, for example, it's like social media, right? There's You could show a realistic picture of who you are and tell people the negative things that happen, like, like saying I had a bad day, or just always talking about the bad things in life, which is actually kind of normal. But what people do on social media is that they curate things and they focus on the good things in life and also the tragic, but never the middle part, which is the bad things, but are, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like people will talk about how they got a promotion or how what they're eating, but they won't always be complaining, but they will talk about tragic things, right? Like the extreme, like my mom died, my puppy died, like that's acceptable. But what people don't want is you consistently complaining, you consistently crying, you consistently having a negative attitude, right? And that's what happens when people wear their emotions on their sleeve, is that they tire people out. To the point where if you cry, people just look at you and just say, "What the fuck?" Like they don't even react to your tears. That's how you know you're wearing your emotions on your sleeve. So that also means telling people what you want, um, never controlling your emotions, saying exactly what you have in your mind at every moment in time, because you got to say what you feel. That type of stuff translates a lot of times in relationships to a lot of needy behavior that pushes people away, behavior that makes you look a little bit crazy, and also it just looks like you're not stable. Um, and when men see that, don't get me wrong, some men, like, men when I get turned, like, they won't stop talking to you, but what they'll do is that they'll just won't respect you that much. Like, deep down, they'll see your vulnerability and they might stay because they may say they want to take advantage of it, but deep down they don't respect you. Deep down they see you as pathetic, and they're like, this person is too emotional. And this is the thing, is that when a guy, you see, and a beautiful woman is a woman that exemplifies a mother, right? Like a woman who has motherly traits for the most. Like, I don't know. That's what I think. And one of the most important things about having motherly traits is being emotionally stable. Because if you're not emotionally stable, you're not going to be present for your child. And when a guy sees that you're always emotional, always losing control, how the hell does that translate to having a kid? And a lot of the times that's how guys use as a judgment to judge people based on that. So it's kind of like you want to control that, and even though you feel that emotion, use that as an opportunity to become more mindful, to become more present, as almost as though as you have a lot of dry leaves in a wood, which creates an ample environment to create a fire. The same thing. All of those emotions, it's pretty much consciousness repressed. You want to observe those emotions. You want to see it, not run away from it, because a lot of times the crying and the sadness and wearing your emotions on your sleeve is just your way to get attention. And it's normal, it's human nature, but you have to work on that because it sabotages you. The second thing is, this is a big one, having expressive eyes and gestures. In other words, the psycho vibe. Look, I honestly, this is the creepiest one. All right, I've dated women who I went out on a date and they just give me the psycho eyes, or even people who you meet, they give you psycho eyes. And the reason why some people give you psycho eyes, one, they're naturally expressive, right? And so they're naturally in real life expressive. In fact, if you see that person who's giving you the psycho eyes, if you see them in real life, you'll notice that they're just naturally more expressive than most people. What happens is that when people get nervous, two things happen. They either amplify their nonverbals, or they diminish their nonverbals out of anxiety, right? They just won't look at you, they'll look down. So if you have somebody that's naturally expressive, and their natural reaction to their nervousness is to talk more and to be more expressive and take up more space, it'll create the, hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. Get out of here. And it'll feel like almost like it is in disingenuous vibe from them. And that type of stuff makes you look a little crazy. And some guys and girls, to be honest with you, not just women, like most people will get turned off by it. Me, I've seen that in people. Personally, I don't mind, because I understand most of the time it's nervousness. And what I'll notice is that they'll first act that way, and the more comfortable they get with me, I'll notice that those nonverbals will get lower and they'll actually act normal. The thing is that I understand they're nervous. Most people don't. Most people just think you're fucking crazy, all right? So lower your nonverbal. Stop being so goddamn expressive. Stop speaking so loud, so fast, so quickly. Stop responding so quickly, and just slow things down. Because then you're just going to give psycho vibes. The next one is too masculine. And these women who are too masculine, unfortunately, been through trauma, where they developed a defensive mechanism to protect themselves by creating a shell of masculinity. And you know how it's almost like the vulnerable man, the weak man, who puts on the veneer of masculinity because he's afraid, and he is afraid of his emotions, and he doesn't want to show people that he has sensitivity. The same thing with some women is that some women, unfortunately, been hurt, been played in life. And it's almost like the movie Precious, right? You see the movie Precious, the girl, she's almost like a man in a weird way, right? Like, she is very strong, very masculine, very aggressive, reacts with aggression, reacts with physicality. And the reason why she's like that is because she was abused. You know what I'm saying? She was abused, and she was really, she didn't know how to react. And so she developed a defensive mechanism of masculinity. And that's where, and there's nothing wrong with a masculine woman. The problem is that, unfortunately, when it comes to dating, it doesn't help you. Now, it'll help you in your career, right? Where if you develop masculine traits, assertiveness, right? Being super independent, not needing help and stuff like that. Not needing help. I mean, even men need help, but it actually helps you in your business life, but it just doesn't help you with dating, because a man wants at least the illusion. You don't have to be this. Just give him the illusion that you need him, that you need help, that you're not that you depend on him. You can give him the illusion of that, right? Or that you need his help. Now, the thing is that when you develop defensive mechanism for masculinity, you don't express your emotions. You don't talk about the things that are going on inside of you, the problems that you have, the things that hurt you, because you think that's weakness. The thing is that when a guy likes you and you express those vulnerabilities, what they'll naturally do is want to help you. Or if a guy wants to manipulate you, they'll also feel like they want to help you so that they could be your savior, right? But the point is that too much defensiveness, what happens is that a masculine man will sense that, and he'll be like, me and you cannot be together. A feminine guy will sense that, and he'll like that. The issue is that you don't want to be around a guy who you can control for the most part. So it's kind of like the masculine woman will attract the feminine man, and then she'll either get turned off by him and push him away, or use him for what he has to offer to her. Right? That's where you have the super hot girl with the old with you know how you watch it like on TV when you watch those shows. But that's one thing. The too masculine, and one of the ways that you can reverse that is just to open up a little bit more. Like express your be a little bit more expressive in terms of your emotions. If you're too independent, give them the illusion that you depend on them. So for example, if you have a lot of money, okay, that's fine, but show some emotional vulnerabilities. You could show that maybe you feel isolated. In fact, most likely you do feel isolated, actually. Like most likely you do feel some of the things I'll say to show it, because you're a human being. And you only show your humanity through your weaknesses. You only show your humanity through needing other humans, because we're not vulnerable creatures. We're not bears. We're not animals that can live by ourselves. We're social animals. So that's one thing. It's just being too masculine, and a lot of feminism is teaching women to be like men. To be honest with you, like I don't understand why femininity is a negative thing to feminists, but it's kind of like nothing wrong with being a woman. It's almost like they're trying to say we also could be men. It's like, no, you can't. Like, men cannot be you, and you can't be a man or you can't take up the role of the man. We were wired a certain way by natural selection. It's based on the situations that we had, and we were wired to depend on each other. And men and women cannot not depend on each other. It's not natural, right? So a man needs a woman and vice versa. And for anyone to say that I don't need each other is pretty much like it's not how humans are, right? So that's one thing, negative attitude. So the next one is just having a negative attitude, like a negative attitude towards life. Now, I talked about wearing your emotions on your sleeve, and that's one thing. But to me, the other one is just a negative attitude. Like, those people who are negative, people who always think the worst. Now, I do talk about developing rational negativity. This negativity is more of a character flaw, where you just see the world through a negative outlook. And that means you complain a lot. That means you criticize people a lot. But most part, you complaining a lot. When I talk about rational negativity, I mean lowering your expectations. This type of negativity is more about complaining about life, and complaining about not having control. Rational negativity is about letting go of control and assuming that the worst will happen and letting it be, right? So that you could develop high intention and low attachment to the outcome. Nobody likes a negative person. Nobody likes people who complain. Because those emotions are contagious, and people will rather be around people who make them feel better, right? So if you're somebody who has a negative attitude, you just have to meditate a little bit more. Like seriously, meditate, become more present, because the truth is that you're just not accepting life for the most part. Complaining just means you're not accepting life. Say thank you for the things you're complaining about. Love the things you're complaining about. And you'll notice that the situation might not change, but your reaction to that will change. And people in general, if you're somebody that's negative, I can promise you, if you change your attitude, if you just even act like you have a positive attitude, you'll notice that people would just be nicer to you, right? And the last one is you have too much high standards. And this is pretty much a form of self-sabotage, where you secretly want to be alone, and rather than admit it to yourself, you just develop unrealistic standards. Like you just, you rather, and we see that a lot with some women who become ultra successful, where studies show that when a woman when a woman earns a lot of money, the more money she earns, the higher her standards. In other words, if she earns $300,000 a year, what's gonna happen is that she's just not gonna be attracted to guys on below her. And it's not that she says you have to have this much money to date me. It's almost like tall girls. If you're good at 6'2", you don't want to date a guy who's 5'10" or 5'11". Genuinely, unless you're in Amsterdam, unless you're from the Netherlands, right? You're not gonna want to date them because you just feel too tall for them, right? Like, it's almost like tall girls have a higher standards, but unfortunately, the tall guys don't want to be with the tall girls unless they want to make me the LeBrons, right? So it's kind of like one of the ways that some people sabotage themselves is that they just have too much high standards. And because of that, because of those unrealistic standards, they push people away because they don't meet those standards. And a lot of that has to do with just being open, a little bit more open-minded, and giving people who you generally wouldn't give a try. Or stop meeting people online, because when you meet people in real life, you generally end up dating people who you generally wouldn't date, because you just end up falling for some people for some odd reason. And I think that's a natural thing. But to have a certain standard in your mind, which I don't oppose to, but to have a standard that pretty much disqualifies everyone in your life is the ultimate form of self-sabotage. Like, it's the ultimate form of self-sabotage. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys ever want to learn how to use your feminine energy to influence people, learn how to use your masculine energy to become more assertive, and also learn how to blend both energies to improve your dating life, your spiritual life, honestly, your relationship life, your family life, your career life, this is the course for you. If I had to make a course for my nieces, I have two nieces, one is 19 and one is 15. 16. Holy shit. Oh my God, he's a bad fucking uncle. He's a bad uncle. Get him. Shut up, Melissa. You should get this course, right? And this is the course that I will make for them. So, for example, watch the curriculum, right? In the first week, we're going to be showing you how to establish a strong masculine foundation without letting it hurt your feminine energy. This masculine foundation is a source of who you are, right? It's your bodyguard. Without this, whatever feminine energy you create will be destroyed by the outside, because your masculine is your shield. So we'll talk about goal setting. We'll talk about how to develop a serious attitude. We're going to be talking about how to use more logic, how to use more goal-oriented behavior. It's more how to be a man. Now the next one is how to embrace the feminine energy, right? This one would teach you about how to minimize excessive masculine traits, developing self-awareness, healing abundant feminine energy, regulating your emotion, mastering voice qualities and facial expressions, surrendering control, and allowing pain to be felt. This is honestly, this will supercharge, like Kaioken, your masculine energy. After that, we have femininity in the workplace, and how to be feminine in the workplace without letting people take advantage of you, and the nuances of how women on power should behave versus women who are subordinates in the workplace, and even the dress code. This is based on psychology, people. It's kind of insane. I'm actually excited about this one. The next week, we talk about navigating the labyrinth of male and female friendship, and this a lot of women find confusing, so we talk about that. And how to identify envious friends, how to identify the good friends, how to keep male friends, and how to keep female friends. Week 5, we talk about how to release the burden of the past and stop and destroy mental projections. This is actually really powerful. And then week 6, we talk about how to increase your observational power so that you could read people better. And we have a bunch of bonuses. The course starts at $99, and you guys can pre-order the course today at $69 before it goes out. If you're watching this, most likely I'm in the meditation retreat, so I will be praying for all of you guys. And just click on the description down below of the video, right there, you'll see it, and you could pre-order that course. It's gonna be out by the end of next month or the beginning of February of March. One of the two, people, because I have a 10-day retreat to do, and I want to finish the course after the retreat, because I think the ideas are gonna be so much better. All right, man. I'll see you guys later. Pre-order, man. Oh, I'm closing the channel.